Kind of fun. We having a good time, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, good. Thank you so very much. Good. You know, it's not very often that I get to drag a friend along with me. I don't know if any of you know this, but I live in Redding, California, which is further north from you, and around this time of year, it is very hot. As a matter of fact, it is proof that hell is full and the dead are walking the earth. So this special friend of mine decided, you know, when I said, hey, you want to come up to Tracy for the weekend and have some fun? He says, heck yeah, give me anything, get me out of this heat. So this gentleman is a card magician. As a matter of fact, he is one of the best card men I have ever met in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce a very good friend of mine, as well as a very good friend of Magic's, Mr. Ron Giesecke.
Good evening. Enjoying the show? I think we already had that question, right? I'm going to do a little demonstration here on the table that's, I guess it falls in the genre of magic, but not completely. As he said, everything I tend to do kind of hopefully conveys some sort of a skill narrative with it. And so the only things you need to know about what I'm going to show you is that it involves a lot of shuffling, a lot of cutting. That part you'll know. But the other two things you need to know about this is that it involves a rather immature story, kind of a dubious story about a guy named Sam the Bellhop, and all you need to know is that he worked in a hotel, that part you knew, down the street from a place called the 654 Club. I won't say this is a rather difficult trick, so if I do well, remember my name, Ron Giesecke. If I blow it, my name is Chris Angel. So the two primary things in the narrative were that there was a gentleman named Sam the Bellhop who worked in a hotel down the street from the 654 Club. Everyone can see the deck here? Hopefully so. Hopefully there's not too much glare with that number. Sam the Bellhop was standing in the hotel one day doing his job when when the front doors to the hotel opened up. It was kind of slow that day. When four gentlemen came walking through the front that were dressed rather nicely. In fact, many would say they looked like kings. Well, Sam walked up to take their bags in the way that a bellhop normally would when they said, Sam, could you do us a favor? Well, Sam looks at his watch. He goes, you know, it's a little early, but I'll see what I can do. They said, could you find our wives? They should have been here about 15 minutes ago in a separate taxi. He said, sure. So he took a walk 1, 2, 3 blocks down the street. He came back. He says, I don't know if I found your wives, but I found 2 brunettes and 2 redheads down the street. They said, Sam, you're beautiful. Where in the world did you find them this time of the day? He said that this place called the 654 Club, that's the place, of course, I mentioned a minute ago. It was right down the block where they were so impressed with that, they gave Sam a $2 tip for his time. So they're really starting to like this guy, Sam. They said, Sam, can you do us an even bigger favor? Well, Sam said, you know, it's a little early in the day, but I'll see what I can do. They said, well, can you find some guys to play golf with us? Because quite frankly, our wives loathe the game with a passion. He said, sure. So he took the obligatory walk 1, 2, 3 blocks down the street, came back and says, good news and bad news. Good news is I found 4 guys to play. The bad news is they're all named Jack, and that gets kind of confusing out there on the greens. They said, Sam, you're beautiful. Thank you very much. Where'd you find those guys this time of the day? The obligatory answer of the 654 Club. That's the place, of course, I mentioned a minute ago. It was right down the block, and of course, the obligatory gratuity, and I should say a very cheap one, of a $2 tip came his way again. Thank you. They said, Sam, they go, can you do us an exceedingly big favor? He goes, you know, every time somebody uses the term exceedingly big, it normally implies that there's a money transaction. They said there is. Can you cash a $40 check from out of town and give us 2 20s out of the till? He said, no, last time I checked in the till, we didn't have 2 20s, but I do know that 4 10s still equals $40. They said, that's perfectly fine. We only need 38 of it. Here's a third and final $2 tip. They go, Sam, how old are you? He goes, I don't understand the infatuation with my age. Would somebody please take a guess? The guy goes, I'm going to guess about 38. The guy goes, well, that's a good guess. I'm 39, actually. They said, do you live around here? He goes, no, I've got a brand new address. It's kind of hard to remember. If I even remember my own, I looked at the envelope. It's 1329 West 8th Street. Yeah, that was it. They said, yeah, did you gamble? He says, do you gamble? He goes, no, I nearly lost everything at the 654 Club. That's the place. Of course, I mentioned it's right down the block. They said, well, what happened that was so traumatic that caused you to quit playing cards? He said, 2 years ago, poker tournament. The guy right across the table from me was sitting there with 3 7s and a pair of 8s. They went, wow, that's a full house. No wonder you lost. He goes, no, that isn't why I lost. You see, I had 3 aces and a pair of 9s. I beat that guy. They go, well, how come you lost the game? They said, because this guy from Reading named Ron Giesecke with this chia pet fiber optic looking haircut was sitting across the table with a straight flush. That's why I lost. And that's the story. Sam the Bellhop in the 654 Club.
Thank you very much. Give it up for Mr. Ron Giesecke and his buddy Sam the Bellhop. That's amazing. You know, I've seen him do that so many times over the years, and it never ceases to amaze me. Ron is truly one of the great talents in our industry. It's amazing. Now,